Well, if you have gone to the KVJ Show Facebook page or if you're watching us on KVJ TV at YouTube, look for the KVJ Show or go to kvjshow.tv. I'm going to have Suits put up this photo because we got this quick little message in an email saying my 16-year-old daughter wants to wear this outfit for her sweet 16 birthday party. My husband thinks it's way too revealing, especially since there will be a lot of teenage boys attending the party. I do happen to agree with my husband. So it sounds like the parents are in agreement. They're just trying to figure out how much of a fight to put up.
A lot of chatter on social media about it.
Yeah, there definitely is. So, Virginia, if you've not seen it yet, that is...
Yes, I did see it.
Okay.
Yes. Actually, this is kind of a very popular dress right now. I saw a woman from Married to Medicine wear it on Real Housewives franchise. I saw it on Watch What Happens Live. I've seen it on several people, this dress.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
This dress is a thing.
Okay. So, what do you think? Would Magnolia be wearing this to a Sweet 16 party?
I mean, I'm not really big on coming down on dress code. I give suggestions. I tell her, if you're going to show a lot of skin on top, don't show skin on the bottom. If you're going to show skin on the bottom and it's very leggy, then cover up a little more on top. You never want to be like all skin. But she told me the thing now is these girls are showing up to parties and they go to parties in bikinis. Like, they don't wear a dress. They go to a party in a bikini.
On Saturday at 9 p.m.
Saturday, 9 p.m., house party, bunch of teenagers. They walk in with a bikini.
Accessories, jeans in a bikini.
Yeah.
They're just going or straight up.
Straight up bikini. All their jewelry, handbag, bikini.
That's a thing?
Wow.
Yes.
That's a real thing.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, and that could be your argument, because if you're looking at this dress, and I guess it's a Kim Kardashian knockoff, somebody saying in the chat room.
Okay, that makes sense.
And that's why it's popular with the girls.
It's a Balenciaga knockoff.
I don't know.
I have seen that dress on several pop culture buzz women.
So what's the counter argument?
Well, it shows the dress shows... It covers up the boobs, but you have the midriff. The stomach is exposed. It does cover up the belly button, and then from right above the breast up, the shoulders are exposed. So if you look at that, that's what it is. Now, that is covering a lot more than a bikini. So if you had to say, hey, would you rather your teenage daughter wear this dress or a bikini to a party? I'd be like, please, the dress.
All day.
At least it's covering up a lot more of the lower section, from above the belly button on down. There's no problems.
So with modern day times, I know parenting is different. You're not allowed to go, you are my daughter, you're not allowed to wear that dress. You go to your room.
I would say dress, fine, bikini, no. And I've told Mags that. We had a discussion about it. That like, hey, other girls may be showing up to a party in a bikini, but just know the kind of message you send when you do that. Do you want people to respect you? Because I think a lot of them aren't going to when you show up in the bikini. It's just not appropriate for a party.
Yeah.
We've had those discussions. We've also had discussions about dresses that I thought were too revealing. I always say my piece. But I'm not gonna fight with you in the hallway and scream and yell about dress code. I'm not gonna do it.
And I understand that as the kid gets older, but what's the age where, as a parent, you stop to say, all right, I kind of really can't control what my kid is wearing. Is it 13? Is it 14? Is it 16? When do you... Because there has got to be a time as a parent, you can't let your kid do whatever they want. There would be a time you go, you're not wearing that, go back and change, right? There's an age at that?
Yeah, I think everything starts to change around 16, 17. I think you really have to loosen up the reins. Because here's what they're going to do. They're just going to put that dress in a bag and leave the house wearing something and then change in the car.
Right.
I mean, my kid has her own car. If she wants to change in the car, she absolutely can. And I did when I was a kid.
Right.
So if the queen, back in the day when Caitlyn was around this age and the queen goes, Caitlyn, you're not wearing that dress, is that something that would happen in your house? Or the Queen ever try to stop Caitlyn from wearing something she thought was too revealing?
We fortunately were we were fortunate because Caitlyn didn't really do that in high school. She was pretty conservative with how she dressed, and so we didn't really have to have this discussion from my own personal experience. Now that she's 24, I've seen her on Instagram wearing some things that I'm not overly comfortable with.
She's coming out of her shell.
Yeah.
But look, the girl looks amazing. Her Instagram and her TikTok, she cultivates her outfits and her accessories and her hair, and it all works, and she looks incredible.
Yeah. So, she's a grown woman now, and she gets to make those decisions for herself. And I feel good with where she is and making sound decisions about her life and things that could get her in trouble. And I think that's ultimately what it leads to. And for all the points that Virginia said, look, I came from a situation where I had an overly strict mom, and it pushed me so far in the opposite direction that I have probably overcorrected as a parent, where I simply have conversations with my kids about the repercussions, how this might look, what people might think, do you care, how you need to behave. That's ultimately what is so important. To me, it's not necessarily what you wear. You're afraid of the actions that it might lead to, that it's suggestive, and all of a sudden she's coming back 8 months later pregnant. I'm looking at all the comments that were on the Facebook page, about 700 comments, like, absolutely not, no way, not when she's 50.
It was a bloodbath. The majority of the people said no way in hell. And then I see other places like, oh, it's fine.
Look, I just think back on what I did. She is my daughter. She's probably going to do the same things I did if I'm really strict on her, like my mom tried to be on me. It didn't work. You can't tell a kid who has access to a car what they can and can't wear because they're going to change in the car and defy your wishes. Instead, talk to them about what, kind of messages you send when you look so scantily clad. Talk about respect. Talk about boundaries. Talk about how you treat people and how you want to be treated.
Right.
And those are more important discussions to me than showing a little flesh.
The thing I'll tell you about being a parent is that you've got all of these lessons that you need to teach your child. The thing that's really tough is finding the moments to teach those lessons, because if you choose the wrong moment, they close off, they don't listen, and it's awkward for them, and you don't accomplish anything.
Trust me, I hated her boyfriend for a year, and I vocally was like, he's the worst. I don't like him. He's mean to you. He's mean to us. Please break up with him. Please break up with him. The second I said, all right, I accept him, and I took them both on a vacation. We came back from the vacation, and they broke up. The second I was like, all right, if you can't beat him, join him, was the second she realized, okay, maybe this relationship is not good for me. It's like, it's so weird, the psychology.
Right. It is.
But you have to figure it out. You have to play the game. It's unfortunately a head game.
So your kids bring you these opportunities to bring up these lessons. And when something like this comes up, you're like, oh, I hate dealing with this. But this is a parent, your opportunity to have a conversation about those life lessons. And you'll have their full attention now because they want to wear this dress so badly to a party. Even though you don't love the dress, you can have all these conversations and you can teach the lessons. So, I will tell you that for the 16-year-old girl, if she's looking for audience's approval, they are not going to give it to her, and she's not wearing that dang dress to a Sweet 16 party. So it's up to the parents to decide how they want to handle it. And I think the other headline is, wow. I mean, if kids in South Florida are now wearing bikinis to parties and they're 16 or 17, this dress ain't so bad. You would be like, thank God she's wearing that dress.
How prevalent is the bikini stuff?
I just learned about this in the past couple of weeks, and from what Magnolia tells me, it happens a lot on college campuses. They're showing up to frat parties and sorority parties in the bikini already. No dress, no nothing. Mags went to some fraternity parties this past weekend, so I was concerned. I made her send me pictures. I'm like, please don't be the girl in the bikini. And she sent me pictures, and she wasn't, thank goodness. Mm-hmm. But it's real. It's crazy. Just when you think you have parenting figured out, they spin you around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Gabriel asked, if your parents were strict with you back then and you still did it, we all did, shouldn't you understand their side now that you're a parent? And I do understand their side. But I understand the psychology better. And I saw, luckily, my dad took a very soft approach that was effective with me. My mom's hardliner stance didn't work.
Made you go the opposite.
Right. And so I think he started to win as my mom saw that his method was more effective. And that's what I'll tell you. And that's what I learned as a kid. I understand the end goal and I understand what my parents are trying to do, but it's just the approach with how you do it. And some kids can take a hard line and they're not going to rebel. But if you've got a kid that's got a little bit of rebellious spirit, a little stallion in them, you got to watch with how hard you come down on them.
How would you answer this question Nurse Schmidt had in the chat room? Just asking, why do we only ever have this conversation about the female children? How would you answer that question?
Well, I think because, at least for a dad, you are more protective over girls.
Sure.
And that's often what it is. And I think it's always kind of been and felt that way, that the boys will tend to be the aggressors and the girls can sometimes be the prey. And that has been a standard in society throughout every culture since we've been here. And it can be both ways, absolutely. But more often than not, and the numbers still back up, that it is typically the other way around. And so I think we just have a tendency to be more protective over the female species than the male. But I don't see a lot of guys wearing anything like that.
No, all
That's
of
the reason
Magnolia's
why
friends.
that's not a
Yeah,
conversation.
they all, baggy shirts, baggy sweatpants. Like
Trust
they're-
me, if I was coming to work in a G-string, we'd be having a conversation.
Now that's how you get our numbers up.
I would be called out. We'd be having a conversation.
You in a G-string on KVJ TV just makes me happy.
Or let's say, you had a 15-year-old son and he was wearing a G-string. I'm sure it would get people going. It'd get people up and out. I would not let my son wear a G-string out in public. I'm sure that would happen.